Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. I saw someone said, "Oh, Baron must be stuck on Twitter." Not exactly, but no, see, this is the thing. When people tell me, "Oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this series, watch that series." That's not a good thing because then I'll start binging whatever I just gotta watch, and next thing you know, you don't see me for a couple of days. That's because I don't know. I just kind of get drawn into the story, and next thing you know, I'm up all night. So um, that's why avoid certain series. I kind of get pulled into it, and that's not good for anybody involved, including myself. I become very unproductive. So until I can figure out a way around that, I just try to avoid a series. I'm not even going to tell you what I watched. It was so
Figure out a way
ridiculous.
around that. I
Sorry for the echo, but yeah, it was so ridiculous. But by the time I realized that this story is lousy, I'm already committed. You know what I mean? So, like the last Thor movie, uh, I thought it was a series because I didn't think that the quality was there. However, I'm committed because, well, I mean, I'm part of the Marvel universe now, so I have to watch all of them, good or bad. I'm in there. So I'm going all the way back to the beginning. I can see the first one that was here seems like hours ago. Monroe Taylor Classic Movie Channel. See what I mean? Don't tell me they have a channel too. I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to get pulled into something. But I'll at least check it out though. His voice is wonderful and he has lots of real emotions. Are we speaking of Spare? Did you listen to the Audible or the narrated version by Prince Harry? I have to say it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Hello, Elaine Parker, Sonia Johnson, Black Queen. Who else is here? Georgia Walker, Lady E, Mama Jane, uh, Monroe Taylor. Oh, that's you again. Okay. I was giving a copy to the library. Oh, that was very nice of you. Down the street from me, a wonderful idea. I'm glad someone thought of it. Yeah, very good. Okay, so I'm just going to skip all the hellos since it's taken us a month of Sundays to get on here. And I'll just say hi to you guys individually. KDV, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Now I'm going to scroll looking to see if there are any super chats that I missed during my preparation period. And so far, I don't see any. Hey, official Lauren Brown is here. Okay. Anyway, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. So, hmm, I don't see. Oh, okay. There is a super chat. Baron, please know that it's okay to take at least a day off. We squatties will understand and welcome it. We appreciate your efforts. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Uh, Let me see here. Was that it? Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that. Um, but I have to say, I rather enjoy it. It's kind of like when you go to the gym and you exercise regularly, you feel kind of off if you don't. That's kind of like my story. But let me see here. Allergy? I'm sorry. No, is that allegedly Shady Shannon? I listened to part of Spare. When Meg met the Queen, nobody introduced her to Andrew. He was the only guy. I'm sorry, he was the only good enough to hold mommy's purse. I thought it was her coat. Was he holding her purse or her coat? And was it Andrew or Edward? I guess it was Andrew. Yeah, obviously she didn't know. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I always mix up Andrew and Edward. I don't know why. not the people, just the names for some reason. Um, but yeah, so she didn't know who that dark, menacing figure was across the room who seemed to suck all the light and joy out of the space. Huh, no wonder. All right, so anyway, let's get started. Straight out of Montecito. There we go. And uh, let's see. Church Nelly says, "I feel off if I go to the gym. That's why I practice exercise." Oh man. Oh well, see, you understand. But no, it's I'm a creature of habit, and when I used to exercise regularly, I would feel horrible those days that I did not. And so, especially at such a critical time when people are piling up on the Sussexes, I couldn't imagine. Like, take for instance Greta Thunberg. Now, she doesn't go to sleep on her watch. She's constantly fighting to save this planet. I was about to say save this channel. Was that a Freudian slip? She's constantly fighting to save this channel. Yes, she's constantly fighting to save this channel. Or, I'm sorry, this planet. Oh, man. Was that a Freudian slip? Is it really just a cigar? Or is it. Well, anyway, before I go into anything that sounds remotely peggy, um, that slipped right out, didn't it? Oh man, she's constantly fighting to save this channel. I'm going to have to speak to my therapist about that. There's something to that. Um, I'm sorry. Let me compose myself. Anyway, look at poor Greta being dragged through the mud by the coppers. Uh, oh man, this is like one of those images I never thought I would see. And look at her as they're carrying her through this area. I don't know. I think they said that was the German police. Um, but yeah, so that's poor Greta. And as I said yesterday, it doesn't take long before they start printing T-shirts, and already they got the free Greta Thunberg T-shirts. So if you haven't got yourself one yet, you probably should. Free Greta Thunberg shirts are going to go fast, so make sure you get one. You know, she's like so fly. She's so gangster in a kind of quiet town in Norwegian or Sweden. Was it Sweden? And from a quiet Swedish town kind of way. I mean, when she's not catching, what do you call those fish? Oh, what's that? Helene says they can drag me every day. Oh, you're talking about the cops? Well, it is something. Uh, some of those countries, like for instance, if you've ever seen like the Italian cops in those very like uh tight bun snugging pants that they wear, it's insane. It's almost obscene. It's almost obscene. You haven't seen cops till you go to Europe. They all look like they're about to start stripping for you. You feel like you're at a bachelorette party. When you go to Europe and you see the cops, you feel like you're in some kind of bachelorette party, like somebody's gonna brandish a boombox, and all of a sudden they are going to be gyrating all over the place. But such is Europe. That's how it is. So, um, part of a European vacation, except for the British cops, they usually don't. They're usually not like that. But once you start getting, I say this: the further you get south, that is when things get really, really hot. So if you want to see hot cops, start heading south. But otherwise, if you stay north, it's kind of boring. So you got to get south of Dover, and then all of a sudden the cops are starting to get pretty hot. Okay. It's like you expect them to have Velcro as part of the uniform. Like everything is breakaway. Like those cops right there, they can probably break out of those uniforms and start dancing before you know it. So um, I'm just saying. Shelly L says Greta is 4'10". Yeah, she is pretty small. She's a little tiny person. She's not so large. She's very, very small. So 4'10". So if she's 4'10", and they look like they got about at least 2 feet over her. So I'm gonna say they and plus German police probably tall, probably tall. But thank you so much for that, Shelly L, and thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the super chat. So don't forget, get those Greta Thunberg t-shirts because they're on sale right now. And remember, whatever the situation is, always a t-shirt. Like for instance, um, I'm sure there's got to be one for the Greta Pizza, the I love Greta Pizza t-shirts. As a matter of fact, it was the Greta Pizza which brought down Andrew Tate. So again, you have to be alert to these things. Otherwise, you let a great bargain pass you by. And who doesn't want a Greta Pizza T-shirt? So, and when I went on vacation to Jamaica, of course, I had to find a T-shirt for the occasion. I heard about reparations and all that kind of stuff. So immediately I started shopping for a t-shirt. Well, you don't really have to look. The t-shirt man will find you. There's always a t-shirt man. So in this case, Jamaica, come for vacation, stay for reparations. Doesn't everybody? You come for vacation and you stay for reparations. That's the beauty of taking a vacation to Jamaica. So
That's Prince. 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 Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
yes, $345 billion. That's what Trenchtown won. Never mind the rest of Jamaica. Just take care of Trenchtown. Could you imagine if Trenchtown received 335 was it $345 billion? If they got that kind of money, I think Trenchtown would become the capital of Jamaica, don't you? Yes, come to Trenchtown, the capital of Jamaica. Trenchtown would be the capital of Jamaica with 345 billion dollars. Yeah, what do you mean? So, time to talk about Prince Harry's spare. Uh, Penguin was so pleased with the sales of the book that they actually tweeted this to give people an opportunity to make comments about Spare. So they are very pleased with the book. The publishing world is pleased. As you know, publishing is not the business that it used to be. Like anything else, modern technology, the internet has kind of encroached upon their sales. However, there's always a book that comes along that seems to go against the conventional idea of sliding into the abyss. Well, it emerged as a lot of electronic book sales, like for the Kindles and Audible and stuff like that, where you have what do you call it? Prince Harry reading the text himself. But then again, it's still part of the publisher's bottom line. So every time you get a book on Audible, or if you get one on your Kindle, or however you acquire it, if you are paying for that privilege of reading the book, then that credit goes to the publishing company, and that helps to ensure an independent, press and publishing industry. Well, that is very important. So they want you to celebrate right along with them. So I don't have the link for that actually, but as I said, I saw that on what do you call it, on the Twitter, but they were allowing people to tweet about it. So there you go. Okay. And whose birthday was it today? Did I see a birthday? Happy birthday! Oh, is it Lauren Brown's birthday? What? Is it Lauren's birthday today? Happy birthday, Lauren Brown! Yes, happy birthday, and many happy returns of the day. Very cool. Happy birthday to you. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I was reading in the comments yesterday. Audrey Teschner says, afternoon, Mod Squad, all squaddies around the world. I'm going to have an operation tomorrow morning, so I think that means today. Just thought I need to tell you guys. So, yeah, you guys, please send your prayers to Audrey Teschner. She's having surgery, which is what she mentioned in the. So let's see, if it's 6 a.m., I don't remember when I saw this, but I did save a screenshot of it. However, she's in South Africa, so I don't know what time of day that is. But anyway, make sure you guys send your prayers out to Audrey Teschner for a very successful operation today. So yeah, I'm sure it's today. All right, so again, our birthday wishes to Lauren and our prayers for Audrey Teschner. Okay. Okay, moving on. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I have my humidifier on, but I still sound like Bonnie Raitt. Let's give them something to talk about. Okay, so the tabloids, the British media, not just the tabloids, but the British media, that includes television and radio, it seems like the odds are stacked up against the Sussexes. However, they have that thing that the other ones don't have, and that, of course, is the Sussex Squad. That's something that they just did not expect, but all of a sudden, it's a factor. As mentioned time and time again, you see, the Sussex Squad, we take to the Twitter streets and other parts of social media to combat the lies and misinformation. So very, very important. I mean, that is the new battleground is the internet. It's not, a physical battle. It's a virtual battle. However, it does have certain elements that can become quite physical. So it's a matter of safety for the Sussexes that we combat these very hateful columns and fake polls and stuff like that, because they tend to inspire some of the more, shall we say, damaged amongst us, and that can become a real problem. So they need our help. Right here. So no one likes a complainer. America dumps Prince Harry as his approval rating drops 45 points, and Meghan's dropped 36 points in just over a month following release of his memoir, Spare. Well, I think that poll is greatly skewed, and it's very odd because they are not running for public office. I can't stress that enough. They have, okay, Megan has been vetted as if she's running for president, and both of them are being set upon as though they have committed the worst crime of the century. The truth is, those polls are so badly skewed. I'm not even sure that that is a poll of the United States. Now, even Newsweek has mentioned something about polls. However, I was curious about the Newsweek article because they didn't bother to include a graph. I'm looking and looking and looking. I'm like, well, where's the graph? They give you numbers, but they don't give you a graph, which is very unusual. No graph, no chart, no pie chart of any kind, nothing, just words, which always make anything seems worse than what it actually is. So Newsweek, of course, with its very right-wing slant and anti-Sussex slant, cannot be trusted. And then, of course, the fail. This is the tactic that they're using today. Simultaneously, while they are trying to convince you that the Sussexes are going down the drain in a whirl of tap water mixed with the stuff that people want, that person wanted to throw at Meghan. On the other hand, that person is being elevated and exalted in ways that doesn't even seem natural. I mean, there you have Dan Wooten. Jeremy Clarkson made a mistake, but Amazon and ITV looking to cancel one of Britain's favorite TV stars that is at the behest of Harry and Meghan is chilling. The woke warriors won't stop till he's destroyed. When the truth is, they're trying to destroy Meghan. They're trying to destroy Harry. So let's go through those words really fast, shall we? He made a mistake, which means, of course, he doesn't have to take ownership of it. Everybody makes a mistake. So they're saying, oh, he's just like you and I. He just made a mistake. But Amazon and ITV looking to cancel one of Britain's favorite TV stars. His words, not everybody, but his words, one of Britain's favorite TV stars. So, in other words, Amazon, an American company, and ITV, which is obviously based in the UK, um, somehow they have become short sighted and seem to be taking the side of Harry and Meghan in this chilling, you know, situation. Is chilling. It's disturbing. I mean, the language that is used is meant to inspire people to choose a side. Are you going to side with that American and the misguided prince, or are you going to side with this homegrown defender of the royal family and yet favorite TV star? No matter what he said or done, it gives you, and of course, there's no objectivity here. They would give you everything encapsulated in a few terms that they could say against the Sussexes. But when it comes to Jeremy Clarkson, none of these columns list any of his past offenses where the Duchess is concerned, which is where we come in. Because on the social media, as you know, the squads keep receipts, and the squad detective agency, well, they always find things. Like yesterday, we were reminded of the fact that the Jeremy Clarkson, it wasn't actually his first time saying things like that about the Duchess of Sussex. He's used that language before in the past about this woman of African American descent being stripped naked and paraded about. That by itself is very disturbing. It really is a very difficult battle to keep that information in the forefront, and of course deliberately so, because we don't have a daily fail. We don't have a newspaper that is widely distributed, online, where people can just click upon these stories as they filter into the algorithm. We don't have that. But what we have is tenacity, and we have determination. And that is, I'm afraid, is what's going to have to win the day, because they are determined to uplift Jeremy Clarkson while simultaneously trying to drag the Sussexes into the mud. And this material doesn't have as much reach. And this is something that I tried to explain to a friend about the news media. Um, you know, I hear so often, well, why don't they just say something? Why don't they tell people? But it doesn't make a difference if nobody's listening. But there are places where people are listening, where people are getting the proper information, but we don't see it. We're not privy to it. We don't know the difference because the algorithm is driving certain information directly to us and other information to other people. So when there is, say, a campaigns going on for the midterm elections, there are advertisements, and as well as um, media bots and such that are being focused on a small sector of society. So we don't see the commercials they see. We don't see the things that are fed into the social media and such that they are able to see, which is probably not a good thing, because we don't know the extent of the damage, if there is any damage that's being done in terms of character assassination of the candidate that we may favor. But that is why, when you do have a presence on social media, first and foremost, keep yourself out of, like, say, Facebook jail. And the worst way to, or should I say, the easy way to get yourself in Facebook jail is to make it personal. If you make those rebuttals personal, then you'll find yourself in Facebook jail. But if you just state the facts and the facts alone, the closer you stick to the truth, the better off it is for you. I mean, I have to deal with that every day on the YouTube, is that I have to figure out a way to say what I want to say without getting myself in trouble. So satire and humor seems to be overlooked. Whereas if you made personal, you know, like threats towards someone, well, obviously, then you're asking for it. So, um, just a word of advice, but I just don't want you guys to be discouraged by stuff like this, because very few people are paying attention to it. And we find that what it almost seems like there's an over representation of this information, which is why I know it's designed to demoralize and discourage you from wanting to defend them. It's not so much that they're trying to reach people. People have already made their minds up about where they stand, but they are trying to discourage and demoralize you so that you won't fight for what you believe is right. And that's the same thing that happens with a presidential campaign. Is demoralizing the enemy is one of the best ways to push the other candidate. So just things to be aware of, but it's not as big and as overreaching as they would have you believe it to be. Most people are not paying attention to this. However, it does pop up in the algorithm, and most of what they see about the Sussexes is usually something negative. So this is why, as much as I would love to take a day off, I don't really feel compelled to do that, especially not right now. Shelly L says, "I'm guessing this is another poll that they took up amongst themselves in the newsroom." Yeah, it's a very shallow pool that they're drawing upon for these polls, and you have to keep that in perspective. When they say we've taken a poll of 2,000 people, well, if it's done with proper science, that can be quite compelling. But if the people that you poll, which is why doing presidential elections, and I'm using that as a reference point because it's those tactics that they are using for this misinformation campaign. When you have a presidential election, the election season seems to get longer every year. Just like we say, oh, Christmas seems to be closer to Halloween every year, or closer to the 4th of July every year. Well, it doesn't just seem to be that way, it is that way. And they have even decided that Black Friday was not soon enough. And so they have sales that uh, preempt the Black Friday sales. But not everybody's paying attention, and not everybody, there's not a good cross section of people that are being polled. And this is why, best example was with the 2016 presidential election. Yes, there seemed to be polls that were favorable to Hillary Clinton, but those are not the numbers that won. The numbers that won, even though she had the popular vote, but they were focusing on the people who could do the most damage. And those people, of course, were the 78,000 people spread across 5 states, that it wasn't so much that they found new voters, they discouraged people from going to the poll. And that's why you often hear me say that they want you to be demoralized. They want you to be discouraged. They want you to throw your hands up and say, this just ain't worth it. Or why should I bother? That's not my problem. Oh, they do have a point there. Now that's that's the scary part, is if they can get you to say, well, they do have a point. No, they don't have a point. They have propaganda. They are gaslighting. And after a certain point, yes, it may seem a bit overwhelming, but trust me, this book, The Spare, hit the target. That's why they are in such a panic. Spare hit the target, and they're afraid. That's why there's so much activity going on, is because they're afraid, but they can't keep that up forever. They're what they're trying to cover while they all of this is going on. What they're trying to make people avoid is the harsh realities of a medical system that's on the verge of collapse, of long lines at the port of Dover and other places, goods that are not reaching the shelf, the price of things are going up. There has been a horrific price to be paid for Brexit. And I didn't really consider how awful it was until I heard, oh gosh, what's his name? James O'Brien. He said, you'll notice that nobody is running around patting themselves on the back or even speaking about Brexit. The people who led that campaign, you can't get them to bring it up in conversation. They don't want to talk about it. So it is clever to use the Sussexes and this culture war as a way to avoid conversations about the virtual collapse of government, some of which is funded by Russian money, all the way to Putin himself. This is all part of Russia's plans for the West. It happened in 2016, and it's happening again. And when you guys wonder to yourselves, why is Barron always celebrating Joe Biden? Joe Biden saved us from what they had planned for the United States, which is exactly what they're doing to Britain. All of this is designed to destabilize democracy, to make sure that people are fighting against their neighbors. And of course, the very anti other movement, where you just don't want black or brown or Asian people in your neighborhoods. All of that is designed to destabilize, and people are giving into it. So, unfortunately, the Sussexes at this time in their history are being used as part of that cultural war with the anti woke movement. Saying liberal didn't seem to have enough punch to it. So now they have gone to woke. So anyway, thank you, Shelly L, and thank you so much for the super chat. Let me continue. Okay. Oh yeah, a whole lot of comments I missed here. Let's see. Miss Monty says we must remember that most U.S. citizens don't know much about Harry and Meghan except what the U.S. media run from the biased royal rotor rats. Look at what is WBOY? I don't know what that is, but okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Most Americans do not follow this stuff. They don't know, and they'll even and okay, people. Let me put it to you like this: there's a lot of people in your circle that will ask you questions like, well, they just said something about, they'll come to you very concerned because they have saw something pop up on their phone about this matter of that matter, and they'll ask you about it. And of course, you, if you're watching this channel, you probably get very defensive immediately. And that is something to consider, is that it affects us when people come after them like that, and then they're quizzing us about some of the things that came up on their phone or on the entertainment shows or whatever. And all I could tell you is just point it out to them as I'm saying it to you. It's all propaganda and gaslighting. And just remind them that the only reason why they're in such a panic is because every time the Sussexes make headway, every time they get their story across, when they can pass on their point of view, then they will, for every one person that says something nice, there's like a pileup of like 50 people that jump on top of them, virtually, of course, to try to disparage or to dismiss whatever has been said. And sometimes when they will have like the counterpoint on these talk shows, they talk over the person, or like loose women, they routinely gang up on people so that they can't get their point of view out. However, it doesn't explain why this is the most successful nonfiction book to have come along in quite some time. As a matter of fact, it's record breaking in some circles, like of course in the UK for a nonfiction book. It is it? I think it's number one for. Is it number one for all time? I suppose. I mean, this is like a Harry Potter edition reaction to Prince Harry's book. I mean, it is stirring the publishing world. So Harry will always have an opportunity to use his platform to tell his truth. I mean, they're not even through with the whole thing about the Afghan situation. They're not even through with that. It's all a matter of perspective. And our perspective is a bit skewed because this is what we are drawing to our devices, because it's the conversations we're having. But for the average person, I just don't think that they're paying attention to it. And when they do see something like a Stephen Colbert, and they look at Harry and they're just like, he's not a three-headed monster. What were they talking about? The best thing that helps right now is Harry's appearances on these talk shows. They can say whatever they want, but he came across as very genuine, very authentic, and very honest. It just doesn't match up. And people know the difference. It just doesn't match up. It's all the anticipation game. Oh, Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that. Then Joe Biden goes to the debates and literally kicked Trump's ass on those debates. So, yeah, let people say what they want. But the truth is, when you're seeing that person in a particular space and they are able to carry the conversation without any of the types of things that have been described as this terrible um, personality disorder or whatever. I mean, it just doesn't add up. And trust me, Americans know the difference. So I can only make the suggestion. You guys have to do what you have to do, but I'm telling you, don't worry about these fake polls because that's all they are. The stories usually do not um, measure up to the polls, and the polls do not measure up. There's no alignment between the two. They have a story, they show you numbers, but they have little to do with the actual person. So there's a hole in it. The headlines are what they're hoping will drive your thoughts. But if you have a reasonable amount of education and you read the story, you'll say to yourself, there's a hole in this somewhere because it is. It just doesn't align. Thank you, Miss. Was it Miss Monty? Thank you very much for that. All right. So Jeremy Clarkson scandal. ITV boss says there is no place for his Meghan Markle remarks on her channel. Well, the thing is, but he's not losing his job. ITV hasn't dismissed him. ITV has not dismissed him. He gets to keep his job. His remarks are not on the channel, and that is the talking point that they want people to know is that he can say whatever he wants to say long as he doesn't say it here. Giving him a platform says it's okay, but so far they don't see it that way. Mary H., those polls aren't true. Can those polls explain why everything the Sussexes do is winning? Now, if those polls are talking about William and Kate, I would believe it. Of course, you're supposed to. But the thing is, there are no polls about William and Kate. The only thing that a poll reflects about William and Kate is that William looks decisive and strong, and Kate doesn't speak. Kate is a mute woman. William is all about duty. And of course, with the great con that we call the royalists, they believe that duty comes first, not self, not individual, not family. Duty comes first. You are supposed to be unhappy. You are supposed to allow abuse, which counters everything that the millennials believe, which is why the young people don't buy it. The older people with that just get on with it, stiff upper lip, um, keep calm and carry on. That is not the world that we live in today. That is the world of yesterday, which is why it doesn't really translate amongst a certain demographic. Whatever they say, whatever they do, there is still a problem with the demography for the royal family. That is not going to go away. So it may appear as though they have won the day, but the truth is they're losing a much greater battle. They're not going to convince people to, smell poop and call it caviar. It's just not going to happen. Got PayPal just now. Thank you so much. I won't say the name, but thank you, Z. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, that's is all part of a propaganda campaign, and I wish it wasn't happening, but it's here, and it's a factor. It matters to the people, but remember, they're not talking to you. They're talking to the people that they want to keep on their side. They have a certain group of people that they need to keep in their corner, and they need to keep them angry in order to keep them on their side. If they can't keep people angry, and I do mean a small sector of society, their foot soldiers are the angry ones, are the ones who feel as though they are disenfranchised because people of color are coming and taking everything from us. I don't even know my neighborhood anymore. I just saw someone with their head wrapped or with a hijab on or whatever, and there goes the neighborhood. Those people, you're not going to convince them anything, but they have to make sure that they keep them angry. So if someone puts a microphone in their face, they'll get exactly what they came for. Is intolerance, hate, suspicion. It's very effective. I won't lie to you guys. It's a very effective way to do things. It's unsustainable, as we have seen with Donald Trump. It's not sustainable. After a while, everything gets old, and people are looking at the British media. That's why they're so angry. People are looking at the British media and they're just like, what is this really about? Why are they trying to uplift this misogynist? Why are they trying to make it okay for this racist to stay on television? This is something that in the United States, we just don't tolerate that. Now, there's a lot of protection that one gets for being president of the United States. And after a while, even that ran out of juice. But it took a lot of coercion. It took a lot of threats. It took a lot of compliance from a right wing media to keep him there. But what happened election day? What happened election day? You had more people turn out to vote to get rid of Trump. And there was a lot of wealthy white people that went into that polling place or mailed in their ballots early that, contrary to popular belief, that there's all of these white men, there were plenty white men who got sick of Trump. There were just people who were so fatigued and so over the big lie. People who looked the other way 4 years earlier, but when it came to election day, what happened? They voted against him. There were so many people that voted against him. What was it, 8, 9 million voters that voted against him? They weren't really voting for Biden, they were voting against him. Everybody that voted for Biden wasn't in love with him. I get that. But they were voting against Trump. And I couldn't do anything better than dance in the street. I was too happy. So this is unsustainable. The right wing movement that is taking place in Britain right now, the pendulum is going to swing the other way. And when that pendulum goes back the other way, the Tories, the royal family, they will be in so much peril that it is going to make your head spin. It's going to happen. I can't tell you when, but it will. It is going to happen. And right now, just like with Britain, you have the Republicans and you have the right wingers in the United States. They are using every device and every means possible. They don't even want to win an election anymore. They're more interested in stealing the election. They're trying to put people in the individual state houses with the governance of the voting. Because, in case you guys are not from the US, let me tell you this: every individual state, every individual county within that state has their own apparatus, their own mechanisms for voting on election day, whether it's a local election or presidential election. There are thousands of individual police departments in the United States, everything from a hospital campus to a college campus, and they all carry the same authority as a New York police officer, Chicago, Los Angeles police officer, or county police. There's more police departments in the United States than there are languages. So you'll never get the same outcome. And even with all of that going on, Trump still lost the election, which is why I tell you, they can fight and they can struggle as much as they want to. But when the pendulum swings the other direction, there is no way that they can fight against that tide. And they know it. They're the ones that's desperate. So, unfortunately for Harry and Meghan, they, at a time that is so crucial, are caught in the middle of this ideological war. But the thing is, they're on the right side of history. You are on the right side of history. So, worry not. It is not the end of the road. Um, Keeping the Jeremy Clarkson only strengthens and reinforces the issue of a out of control and very biased right wing media. But with the internet, even though they are trying their best to control the message, so far they haven't been able to do that. That's why they took over Twitter, because they were trying to suppress the left wing. They were trying to suppress the so called woke. That was the whole point of taking over Twitter. They spent $45 billion to try to silence the left. That's how much it meant to them. And that's the only reason why Rupert Murdoch exists, is anything that looks like equality, equity amongst the classes, that is something that must be defeated at all costs. And it doesn't matter. Not all of these conservative news outlets make money, but that's not the point. They want to win the war. They're not so concerned about profits, although they need that to facilitate these day after day incursions into people's lives. But it's not sustainable in the long run. And when it does slap the other direction, it's going to hit them hard. I'm convinced of that. It's going to hit them hard. Cookies and Cream says we have social media. That's why it's so important that Rottweiler's close ties with Clarkson, Pierce, Wooten, Levin, Politico, TK Maxx. It's plastered all over social media and keeps trending with receipts. And isn't it interesting, Cookies and Cream? Anytime they stop and ask a young person on the street, they can rattle, I mean, just random young people, they can rattle off those statistics. They can rattle off the offenses of the aristocracy, the media, and of course the government, the Tory government. They can rattle that stuff off without any effort. They don't hem and ha. They don't look up in the sky for answers. They don't do the jazz hands. They just know it. They know it. So the battleground is TikTok. The battleground is social media. It's not the tabloids. So let them have that. Let them have that. We will just have to bring the receipts. That's it. We have to bring the receipts. And if one medium fails, then you just have to find the next. Marjorie says, "Hi everyone. That approval rating is not real. Harry's book was released last week, not a month ago. So how can they say in just over a month the UK press still trying something?" Exactly, Marjorie. Those numbers, like I said, there's no alignment with the numbers and the reality. The stories, the numbers, and the date on the calendar, none of that stuff has any type of alignment. So um, they can pretend. I mean, it's not illegal for them to misrepresent like that, but because they feel it's effective, because they feel it will win the day, and the optics are very important, but the truth is more important. Hi, everyone. Been listening since day one. Thank you for the fight and never giving up. As for Jeremy Clarkson, what's that, JK? The suits just got lit up. Seems appropriate. Is that Jeremy? No, JK. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get lost. JK is who? As for JK, the suits just got lit up. Seems. Uh, Oh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I do that. It's thank you, Lady Trillion. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I see the letters and I'm just like, what? Wait, Spare was released last week, not a month ago. Before last, they can't even cut and paste right. Exactly. That's what I said. There's no alignment with the articles and the date on the calendar. They just need to put it out there, disparage, degrade, demoralize. That's what they're hoping for. They hope that if the Sussexes show up for the coronation, that there is going to be this very strong pushback. Like, what do they say? Every time the Sussexes are supposed to come, there's always an article that says, would you boo the Sussexes if they show up for the coronation? I'm surprised they don't say, will you bring a bag of feces if the will you bring your own bag of feces if the Sussexes show up for the coronation? God, I hope not. But that's the way is portrayed. Thank you, Shelly L, for that. Um, oh my God, there's like a million comments, and I'm just gonna scroll. Let's see. Mad Wells. Oh, that's not even for me. Okay. Let's see. Lily, to you, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Got a new member, Sonia Dandridge. Thank you so much. Became a YouTube member. Thank you very much. And who else do we have here? Oh, Rick has a super sticker. Thank you. Happy Wednesday. Shelly L says, I can't believe JC, Jeremy Clarkson, and I are just 1.5 years apart. Yeah, I can't believe it either. He almost looks as old as Rupert Murdoch, and he's 91. He almost looks as old as Rupert Murdoch. Unbelievable. Jeremy Clarkson's future on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire confirmed. Amazon Prime cuts ties with Jeremy Clarkson on Monday, following his column about Meghan Markle. But look at Patron. What is that? Petronella Wyatt says Clarkson has been punished enough. If ITV drops him, it will set a dangerous precedent with Harry and Meghan able to pick off at will journalists they don't like. They are afraid. They're the ones that's afraid. Do not be deceived by this hubris that is coming out of these tabloid reporters. They're the ones that's afraid. If they look the other way, as Spare has brought into sharp review the question of the role of the media with the royal family, that right there is the big point of no return. Harry has already set a spark to it. And yes, he has set a spark to it, but it's still standing. It's not going to stand forever. By igniting this fire, by stoking the flames of lies and gaslighting and propaganda, it's going to put all that stuff, it's going to bring it to the fore, as they say. They are afraid. They don't like the idea that people are seeing the way the sausage is made. We are looking into the sausage factory. And as they say, once you see how sausage made, you don't want to eat it anymore. We are watching them throw like a calf's head, um, hog balls, and everything into a vat that is being mixed into sausage. Eyeballs, livers, pancreas is all being thrown in there into the sausage maker. And for some reason that doesn't bother me. I don't care what they throw in the sausage. If it tastes good, I'm going to eat it. But all of these things are being seen for the first time. You are seeing behind the curtain. As Harry said, I've seen behind the curtain and I know how it works. That's why they're afraid. So then you have that monster, Petronella. Clarkson has been punished enough. If ITV drops him, it will set a dangerous precedent, with Harry and Meghan able to pick off at will journalists they don't like. And she is a monster. If you don't believe me, Google. It's a monster. There's a monster on the other end of that name. A monster. A monster. I'm serious. It's a monster. You got to see it. Frothing at the mouth, got them weird eyes. A monster. Okay, now this is what they should concern themselves with right here. Australians want to cut ties with the monarchy. A recent survey by Ipsos has revealed that more than half Australians, 54%, agree with our nation should end its formal ties with the British monarchy. Because if something jump off in the South Pacific, their alliance with the United States is far greater than that of the one with the United Kingdom, because we actually have military bases in the South Pacific, not the UK. The UK doesn't have that kind of power anymore. So you got to have friends, and you got to have strong friends. So, what could I say? The only thing that the British could do is watch it burn. If there was a fire in Australia, all they could do is watch it burn. They don't have the strength to defend them. They are barely hanging on themselves. They don't have the strength to defend Australia. So Australia's relationship with, the Pacific Rim nations, that is more important to them, and that includes the United States. Let's see, over there, the majority, 51% of Scots would support independence. Only 43% would vote against independence. A further 6% of people would likely vote, but don't know which way they would vote. So those are people who haven't made their mind up. We know which way that goes. It's not to stay, it's to go. So, and then, of course, Wales. That's another thing that they need to be concerned with. So, how much deception, how much distraction using Harry and Meghan is going to make this stuff go away? Do you think that you're going to get people so angry with Harry and Meghan that they are going to drop this idea of severing ties with the United Kingdom just so that we can save? They're going to they're going to drop the independence, or republicanism movements, so that they could save the royal family's reputation from Prince Harry. That's what we're supposed to believe, is that they are going to vote to stay part of the UK, or to stay part of the Commonwealth, just so that they could protect the British royal family's reputation from Harry and Meghan, which, by the way, most of these countries are getting browner and browner by the day. They're not as diverse as they used to be. And, that what their constituents want matters. So I'm just saying, fear not, sir. We shall not rest until we have rounded up every chicken in Yorkshire. That's the defense right there, is to save Charles from eggs. Oh, Camilla. Oh, God, Camilla. I pray that egg was organic. Oh, Camilla. Oh, God, Camilla. They've ruined my suit. Oh, the best. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, God, Camilla, they ruined my bloody suit. I hate these bloody people. Oh, cheer up, Charles. Let's see here. Oh, okay. The best. Thank you for the other super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. See there? The best likes Royal Sussex so much they had to say it twice. Let me see here. Mashar says, oh, that's not for me. Okay, that's fine. And Ruth Lopez says Rupert Murdoch brought naked girls to newspapers. He convinced the sexist Brits that it was great for their daughters and sisters to take their clothes off for tabloids. The Brits let it happen. Now, is that the famous page three girl or whatever that was? I heard about that, but I've never actually seen it in print before. Um, I'm gonna have to look that up. Actually, I'd like to see it. But I heard about that, and I'm just trying to wrap my brain around that. So, are you telling me that in order to get people to look at the newspaper, that they actually had, was it topless girls or completely naked girls in the paper? That is so weird. I mean, I've heard of people reading Playboy because they just love the articles, but that gives a new meaning to that type of journalism. But, of course, hate sells, sex sells, all those things sells. If it bleeds, it leads. Oh, God, Camilla, they've ruined my suit. Oh, God, I hope those were organic. Camilla, I saw that. I did. I saw that. I wonder why. Did they say why? It did pop up on my feed while I was talking. Let me see. But yeah, I wonder why she did that. I mean, I know she has a young family, and that alone should be a good reason because, well, anyway, I mean, I like her, but she does have her family to consider. Let me see right here. New Zealand leader Jacinda Ardern to resign before upcoming election. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced Thursday she will stand aside for a new leader within weeks, saying she doesn't believe she has the energy to seek re-election in the October polls. Ah, let me see. Speaking at the news conference, Ardern said her term would end by February 7th, when she expects a new Labor prime minister will be sworn in, though, depending on the process, that could be earlier. Wow, decision was my own, Ardern says. Leading a country is the most privileged job anyone could have, but also the most challenging. You cannot and should not do it unless you have a full tank plus a bit in reserve for those unexpected challenges. I no longer have enough in the tank. Um, the job, let me see, to do the job justice, she added. Okay, well, that's it. I wonder if there's something more to it, but for now, she just doesn't have the energy. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Black Queen, for reminding me to take a good look at that. Thank you for the super chat. All right, you guys. Uh ooh. Okay, I'll take this one. Why in the hell they think Harry and Meghan should show up for that show? As Beyonce say, middle finger up, tell them boy bye. Oh man. Fatima says they have to fight for the last bastion of ultimate white supremacy, for their time is not, what is that time? For the time is not coming to an end. Their time is coming to an end. Harry has been blessed. Well, in the Western world, let's just call it what it is. There is a paranoia of black and brown people. My way of looking at it is this: For the past few hundred years, a very small area on the map, Europe, has extended their power out into the world. They colonized, they stripped other countries, other nations, other ancestral lands or tribal lands, not formal governments, but the tribalized areas that was their home. They didn't have the same type of government as Western Europe, but that was their homes. And some of those tribes were nomadic, like, for instance, Kurdistan. Kurdistan is not a single place on the map. Kurdistan were tribes that were parts of areas that were divided by Europe, Iraq, Iran, Libya. All these borders were just drawn up out of nowhere by the Europeans. So the Kurds were separated from the rest of the tribe. And the same with the Shiites and the Sunnis. They had a virtual map, not a, true line in the sand, so to speak. And so when you colonize these countries, you take part of their culture and make it your own. They take part of your culture and make it their own, right? And conversely, you have all of this mixing and mingling. And so suddenly you got somebody like me who's a little Scottish, a little Irish, but mostly sub Saharan African. How in the world did that happen? So if I say I was born in the United States, or if I was born in Hackney, if I was born wherever in the Western world, that is my home. But a power based majority, let's say someone white in the United States, would say to me, well, where are you from? No, where are you really from? Even if I had an accent, even if I dressed in, very traditional clothing or Afrocentric clothing, if I say that I'm an American, I'm an American, period. But so many of these Western countries, they wanted Black, brown, Asian people to do the work. They wanted us to rebuild after the war, or they brought us over as slaves. And then once the economies boomed, they still need the work, but they don't want you to count yourself as a citizen. And so that's where the paranoia comes from, is that the birth rates are going down, even amongst people of color, but not low enough to prevent the demographic shift. So now you got a city like London where so many people, is it more of the people in London were foreign born? I know Toronto is for sure. More people in Toronto was born in another country than actually born in Canada. And in the United States, I mean, we got people coming here all the time, and not everybody's crossing the southern border. Some people are getting off the plane at LAX. Some people are getting off the plane at JFK or Dulles or wherever they're coming from, and they just stay. So you're not going to reverse that. All they have is fear and panic because of the fear of others. Brexit was the fear of others. Trump and the MAGA people were the fear of others. That is not going to save the day. You can be in as much fear as you want, but the people are here and they're not going anywhere. So when you hear me say that I am so pro immigration, I am. Number one, we need the labor. And number two, it is the moral thing to do. The only difference between the way I live and other people in this world is an accident of birth. Speaking of accident of birth, the only difference between the way he lives or the way she lives is an accident of birth. If they had to be another person in another place, they probably wouldn't have made it. This is another accident of birth. There's another. There's no difference between these people. They're not brilliant. They're not talented. They don't know so much. They have an entitlement that comes from their birth. I mean, her great great grandmother was a mistress. I choose my words carefully, and that's her birthright. Uh, I choose my words carefully. I choose my words carefully, but that's it. So it's too bad that they can't deal with it, but the people are here. The people are coming, and the fear of others, this ideological war that is happening, is it's not just predicated on conservative and liberal. There is races at the base of it. That's what it is. The fear that they are going to lose their power, they're going to lose their position, and that the Princess of Wales may marry a Muslim. Well, we see how that turned out. Fear, just fear. Okay, never was so much owed by so many to so few. The NHS on the verge of collapse. On the verge of collapse. And we're talking about Harry and Meghan and the spare. Lauren Brown says they created the situation. Now they are afraid of repercussions. Yes, yes, Lauren Brown, exactly. This is this fear of others. I mean, it's a no-win proposition. And the only thing that they could do is to try to alienate people that's already here to other people that's already here. Make that make sense. It's like people pointed out a long time ago. If there are 12 million undocumented people in the United States, let me see you put 12 million people on a plane. Please let me see the plans drawn up to put 12 million people on a plane. I want to see those plans. If it's 20 million people, if it's 2 million people, let me see your plans to put 2 million people on a plane and send them somewhere. I mean, look at that whole thing about sending people to Rwanda. That's a flash in the pan. That does not end the situation of migration, and it's not illegal to appeal for amnesty. It's not illegal to migrate to another country. That the act itself is not illegal, no matter what people say. They're playing on people's fears. That is not an illegal thing to ask for amnesty or to migrate or to appeal for citizenship. None of that is illegal. Asylum seeking is not a crime. Okay, campaign to abolish the monarchy. The royals' shroud of secrecy serves a dismaying purpose. Speaking of shrouds of secrecy, can we speak about Lord Louis Mountbatten? Lord Mountbatten. Now, this is something that we've almost forgotten about. I haven't, of course, because I'm hoping that this information will see the light of day. But this is like a family secret. And I don't know. I don't think Harry knows much about this. So it was kind of before his time. However, it is a family secret. And there is a case in Ireland right now. And I don't know what the status is of that case, but gosh, I hope, gosh, I hope that they can leak some of that information. By the way, the very startled looking gentleman in the photo in the upper right corner there, that is Edward the Eighth, is it? And that is Mountbatten behind him, um, you know, supporting his back. Okay, just supporting his back. That's all. He's supporting his back. Let's see here. And it makes more sense for the country to make immigration easy. It brings much brain and physical power into the country. Exactly. We need the labor. Canada has just admitted that they will take any and all comers because they have such a shortage of laborers in the workforce, which is why that is so stupid. On the one hand, you're telling people don't show up here. On the other hand, you got so many vacant positions in the workforce that nobody will take it. As long as there are vacancies in the workforce, as long as companies are appealing for new hires, and you got a bunch of people that Governor Abbott has put on buses to send to Chicago, New York, Washington. Yeah, keep sending them. Please keep sending them. You don't see those cities protesting. Keep sending them. Please do that. They just don't want them in Texas because Texas is on the verge of going blue. Texas is on the verge of becoming a Democrat state. That's why they don't want them in Texas. They're afraid they're going to vote Democrat. I don't care who comes across the border. Make sure you give the kids a Democrat Party coloring book and make sure that you register the adults as Democrats as they come across the border. I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. Just vote blue. That's all I can say is vote blue. Let's see. That sicko had access to Charles, Andrew, and Edward. Just saying. Woo! Thank you, Bad World. You took the words right out of my mouth. President John F. Kennedy meets with Chief of Defense Staff of British Armed Forces Lord Louis Mountbatten, First Earl Mountbatten of Burma, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Lyman Lemnitzer, Oval Office, White House, Washington, D.C., 11th April 1961. And even though, you see why John F. Kennedy got his hands in his pockets. That's so he can hit that panic button in case Lord Mountbatten tried something. Either that or maybe he has like a little thumbtack so he can stick his fingers or something if he tries something with him. But I'm just kidding. But they did have a dossier. They do have a dossier about Mountbatten. The FBI collected intelligence on him. Now, that by itself is not a big deal. The FBI, Her Majesty, His Majesty, Secret Service, they all do that. They have to know if someone of a foreign government is open to, what do you call it? Oh gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? That they could be blackmailed if they're open to blackmail or something like that. So they want to have that information. That's not unusual. But the dossier that they have for Mountbatten, woo wee. You want to know what's in that dossier? Take a look. That's what's in the dossier. that's that's what's in the dossier. That's in there. That's why Kennedy looks so pensive. That's why he's like not even making eye contact. I'm sure John F. Kennedy is saying to himself, freak. Freak. Let me see here. I think they covered for him because he had dirt on them. Also, that's why food prices are so high. I told someone, don't cry when one strawberry costs $5. Yeah, the food prices are high because we need the labor. When they voted for Brexit, they literally shot themselves in the foot. Just before a marathon, who shoots themselves in the foot? I don't know, the Tory government pushing for that referendum and lying to the British people that if you vote to leave the European Union, that $350 million that we spend every week for the what did they say the money was going to the European Union or wherever the money was, they said that money was going to go back into the NHS and that you won't have to wait to see a doctor. I repeat, $350 million a week, a number that they literally pulled out of the sky. That number is going to go back into the NHS, and you, citizens of Britain, will never have to wait to see a doctor again. Fast forward to January 2023. The NHS is on the verge of collapse. Talk about one of the greatest lies ever told. It's like Donald Trump say, what the hell else do you have to lose? And then what happens? We almost lost our government on January the 6th, 2 years ago. We nearly watched the federal government decapitated. That's what the hell you have to lose. Okay, let's get rid of that stuff for now and talk about something a little different. Hit it, Annie. But I still go with what I said yesterday. If you're going to let people cross the border, no chubbies, nobody too unattractive. We don't need that either. Only let the attractive, fit, healthy, strippable people, only let them through, okay? If the adults want to come, they have to be prepared to wear clothing lined with Velcro before they cross that border. In other words, let the Italian cops through. if you want to cross the southern border, you have to look like a stripper, okay? I don't even care if they're implants or whatever. Only strippers can cross the southern border. No chubbies. You want to bring your chubby self over here? Well, we got enough of that. As you know, this country is exploding from obesity, as evident by your Royal Sussex host. So I have a standing policy. I have to be the only chubby one in the bed. So anyway. I'm just saying what everybody else is thinking. Only let the attractive people through. I'm only saying what other people are thinking. Anyway, that should be part of the citizenship test. In order to pass the citizenship test, they should put like a stripper pole at the border. Oh man. Oh, okay. Anyway, y'all, we needed a good laugh, right? Right. So let's get to it. A stripper pole at the border. Lord have mercy. Where do people come? Oh, that was me. Never mind. Elaine Parker, you going to bed? Thank you, Elaine Parker. Sweet dreams. Let's see here. It's 2:15 a.m. here. So I'm going to say good night, squaddies, everywhere you are in the world. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker. Thank you for being here. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right. So as I was saying before I got to the visions of stripper poles dancing in my head, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So Omid Scobie says Kim Kardashian has bought a pendant previously worn by Princess Diana. The amethyst and diamond encrusted what is that? Atala crucifix was created by Garrett's of London, or is it Gerard's of London? Yeah, Gerard's of London. and apparently loaned to Princess Diana by its owner several times. Sotheby's confirmed that it sold today by auction for $197,453. Well, that sounds fair. I thought that was really cool to that they made this a story. It's a reminder of Princess Diana, I think, at a time when we need it the most. And the idea that Princess Diana was not afraid of jewelry. There was nothing too big or too gaudy or nothing too cheap. Diana would go to the little cheap boutique shops to buy jewelry, and she would pair it up with some of the most expensive pieces, most exotic pieces of jewelry ever created. Good for her. So there it is, a close up. Amethyst and diamond encrusted crucifix. How beautiful. And no, I don't mind that what's her name bought it. Doesn't matter to me at all. I hope she enjoys it and wears it with pride. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see her wearing it. It's okay. I don't think it's a big deal because you know what? By them bringing attention to stuff like this, it reminds us of the very traumatic life that what's her name, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, let's face it, Marilyn Monroe's memory is fading with the world, and it was a reminder of a bygone era of Hollywood and politics. So, with that, people are going to Google Marilyn Monroe, and that is going to keep her alive. And then, too, with this diamond encrusted amethyst crucifix, again, young people are going to Google Princess Diana, and a whole new generation, hopefully, a whole new generation of young people are going to fall in love with her the same way that somebody like myself, who was once a young person, fell in love with Princess Diana. So I think it's a good thing. Yes, I would love for this to belong to this person or that person, but the thing is, it helps to stir the memory of someone like a Princess Diana or a Marilyn Monroe, and these inanimate objects should be shown, they should be used, they should be available to the public to enjoy because it's not just a piece of jewelry, it's a work of art. So I'm just trying to give you another perspective as a way to see these things because it's so much easier to hate this and be disgusted by that. And at a certain point, our thoughts are not necessarily our own. We are just riding the train of dismay. And that's a terrible place to be. Like, for instance, this work of art, I spoke to my sister about it, and she said how much she loved it. She said when she learned the story about it, when she learned the truth about it, she thought it was a beautiful thing. Not that she hated it to begin with, but the idea that you could walk into their embrace, it was deep and meaningful to her. And that was without any encouragement from me. So remember, the glass is half full. If every glass you look at is half empty, pray about that. The glass is half full. Um, and so if you ever wonder, how is it, Baron, you maintain this temperament? I mean, I get upset like everybody else, but I try not to wake up and find anger in my day. I try to find, the light in this world because if I stayed angry all the time, I don't think I would be here right now. God's child, 9 months, 9 months membership. Thank you so much for that. I looked out British. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I'm locked out. British royal family deceived us. Hide behind polls. Want the U.S., not America. Let me see. Uh, Charles. Now I'm looking for that over here. Okay, I'm looking at that on my other screen. How come I don't see that on the StreamYard? Did I miss that somehow? Okay, so it doesn't show up on the StreamYard. All right, so the only place I can see the comment is on my other screen. Let me see. Let me see. H2 cover him up. Desperate K muted allegedly. Uh, I'm sorry, Godchild. I don't understand that one. Okay. Oh my goodness, and it doesn't show up on the other page. I'm so sorry about that, Godchild. But anyway, thank you for the 9 months membership. Let's see. Okay, Baron, it's 2:26 a.m. in the UK. Waiting for your show was well worth it. Well, thank you, Karuna, Raina. Thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for being here. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right, let's go back over here. So, you guys, try to stay positive. Again, do not let these polls and this hate campaign drag you down. It is well worth it to, you know, take some deep breaths, stretch, relax, and not just speak for Harry and Meghan's sake, but anything that comes on the news. I do worry about the headlines and how it affects people, and it's something that can really be detrimental to you mentally and physically. You have to know when it's time to step away from that stuff, because otherwise it may affect you in ways that you could not imagine. You may quarrel with your partner or your children or your friends or loved ones or something like that. And it's just not worth it. I don't think anybody is the better off for that. So, um, again, take care of your mental health, your mental well-being. Very, very important. Now, this sourpuss is sitting in seats that are the BAFTA Award seats. That looks like the BAFTA Awards. Now, I saw this photo and I'm like, how poignant is that? There he is sitting by himself, probably listening to someone a distance away. This probably happened during the height of the pandemic. However, it's kind of like a metaphor for his life. I mean, he is a bit isolated, he is alone. And even though he's surrounded with people, nobody is allowed to get close to him, as evident by the spare. We have learned that he expects for people to stand on ceremony with him every place he goes, as though he is incredibly insecure and needs that constant reinforcement or stroking of his ego, if you will, to remind him that you are anointed by God and you shall be the sovereign, and that you will have subjects, not citizens. It seems as though he needs that type of reinforcement to survive, whereas other people don't have that. That seems to be something that he needs. He expects it from his brother, he expected it from Meghan. He showed very little deference to the Queen, as evident by the fact, and Harry said it, I believe Harry, that he raised his voice and yelled like a maniac at the Sandringham summit. He doesn't have respect for anyone, but he wants respect from everyone. And so that's why I love this photo, because it shows him alone and isolated. And I think that's exactly what's going on with him, is that he really is not close to anyone, because there is that wall of the, you know, royal family, the wall of deference that has made him that way. So he constantly watches Harry make connections with people that he never will, he never could, and is never going to happen for him. And he's puzzled why more people don't get him. I'm just going to do a psychological workup for him. He's constantly puzzled why people don't get him. Pretty soon he's going to find out why people don't want him. This is like the end of the monarchy as we know it. William sitting there like that, that's the end of monarchy as we know it. There are no I don't think there are any more Harrys in the family. Harry probably would be the best choice for the throne because of his temperament. This is the worst choice. This is why people have so much respect for Willem Alexander, because he has the proper temperament to be king. Not popular with everyone, but at least he thinks and feels and problem solves. Trial and error is the way he lives. But this guy right here, not so much. Lauren says, glass is half full. I really don't know. I mean, I do. I really don't want to know what either of these families brought. I don't want all these historic items to only belong to them. Will was that Will K? Oh, Kim Kardashian loan to a museum. If not, not into it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But the object itself is not the most important thing. I think, like I said, the fact that people are going to remember Princess Diana. I mean, and once you start Googling, you're going to start looking at other stuff. And yeah, I don't. I'm gonna just say I'm hopeful about it, and that I think that this may turn out to be a good thing. She's not a horrible person, and I'm not saying that you're saying that she is, but I'm just saying Kim Kardashian is not a horrible person, but the public persona is where her money comes from, and she's created that character, and that's she has to stay that character if she's going to stay relevant. But that collection is at least is in the United States, I hope, and not someplace where like you say, that it may be loaned to a museum or something, and not someplace where it'll never be seen again. I tell you too, Oprah. Since we're talking about that kind of thing, Oprah owned Manet, or I forgot which artist it was, but it was some beautiful piece that was on loan to the Met, I think it was, and Oprah owned this piece anonymously for years, and nobody was the wiser about it. So um, I think it will probably get loaned out to a museum. She'll probably wear it a few times to help build her brand, and then it'll probably go to a museum. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for your comment. God's Child says, thanks, guys, for the congratulations. I'm logged out again, so can't respond on chat. It's late here in the UK. Love you guys. Good night. Really? You can't respond on the chat? I'm sorry about that. I will look into it. I promise. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for being here. Gosh, I didn't know it was so late. Kathy A. Super Sticker, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. All right, so you got William sitting alone in the BAFTA seats, right? And then you have, okay, I'll just put that up there. Harry and Meghan were not welcome at all star-studded BAFTA tea party in Los Angeles, with London executives deciding rather it would be a PR disaster following the fallout from Spare Sources claim. Oh God, sources claim. And we all know sources claim means that the writer may have just guessed it or pulled it out of their behind. Either way, let me remind y'all of something really quick. Take a look there at Will and Kate on the right. If you got that was 2019, I think. Please Google, or 2020. Please Google their arrival at the BAFTA Awards. Dead silence. It was so quiet. You could hear a rat piss on cotton. It was so quiet. It was as quiet as a church mouse. I mean, quiet. You couldn't hear anything. They walked in and people just gawked at them. And some people, like the lady in pink, you can see, she's looking away. Look at how many people in the background are actually looking away. They're not even looking at them. And so I compared it I compared it to the terracotta warriors of China. Remember, they found that archaeological dig, and there were all those inanimate objects, those terracotta statues, just standing there, not really looking at anybody, just looking straight ahead. That reminds me of Will and Kate showing up at the BAFTA Awards. That was it. Stone silence, like statues of terracotta gazing into oblivion. That is the arrival of the Cambridges at the BAFTA Awards. Not once, but I think at least twice I was able to see that. Um, what's that? Sharon Jones says, I watched the arrival. Even Kate said, it's so quiet to the lady who escorted them in. Yeah, you're right, it's quiet because nobody's interested and nobody cares. You all could have stayed at home. Y'all could have stayed at home. And that Imelda Marcos dress that she's wearing, that could have stayed in the closet. She went and got an Imelda Marcos couture dress and put it on to go to the BAFTA Awards and walked in and dead silence. I'm telling you, Google that. You will get your life. You have to Google that. I know, Marshar. Well, okay. The dress was actually the shell of the original dress, and it was layered on top of another dress. But again, there is the estate of Marilyn Monroe. And in order for people, well, her family, if the if the family indeed own the estate, they will get such an uptick in their income because of Kim Kardashian wearing that dress. I know it seems like sacrilege, but it's just the dress. The dress was in a paper bag in a drawer for years, and nobody even knew it was there. And so they had a chance to bring out the dress. And of course, for the museum where the dress is located, they also have a chance to make some money and draw public interest to Hollywood history. So I'm just trying to be positive. That's all. I know it may not be the best answer or the best, advice in these situations, but I just think that it helps to keep that person's memory alive. And the fact that a few of the bugle beads went flying across the room, the fact that a few of those bugle beads nearly put somebody's eye out. Yeah, that is of small consequence. Yes, the dress look. I mean, she did kind of look like somebody had stuffed a sausage, but yes, it's true. It's true. A few people nearly lost an eye when those bugle beads popped off that dress and went ricocheting across the room. But as I said, aside from nearly blinding a couple of spectators, it helps to keep her memory alive. That's all. Oh man. But you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm just saying it helps to keep her memory alive. Yes, it looked like it was like she was, suffocating or whatever, but it helps us to remember Marilyn Monroe. And that's the whole point. Okay. So, again, we're using black people, black children as props. And there is William in whatever kitchen, and those kids cannot be bothered. I mean, it's just, it's like BAFTA all over again. You look at the people behind them, you don't know what they're looking at. The people aren't even interested, right? And it's the same with Will. One kid's looking across the room like it's almost like a hostage movie. You almost expect for him to like blink his eyes for help. That's how distraught they look. And yet here we have the future King of England. I mean, do these kids not know that this bristling, balding man standing in front of them is going to be the future king, and they're showing absolutely no interest in his presence? I mean, I'm just shocked. I'm glad, but I'm just shocked. You would expect that one of them would drop to the floor and go crawling over to him like that girl did when I'm sorry, King Charles walked in the room. You know, that woman that they slipped a couple of pounds notes to her and told her, yeah, when he comes in, can you crawl over there and scream like you done lost your man? Well, you would expect that somebody would do something like that, but nope. He's just standing there looking just as strange as ever. Dina Cardoso, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Wednesday to you. Let's see here. I'm almost afraid, but here goes. Oh, yes, I stay away from almost everything related to Kay and family by choice, not a hater, just keeping my peace. May we all live well and get what we want via legal means. You know, okay. I was almost afraid to look at that one. Let's see. Karuna says, Baron, there is an article making the rounds that alludes to Notre Dame's prediction the spare will be crowned king, meaning Harry will be king, not William. Yes, I saw that. And you know, it would mean that the royal family had a really, really bad day if that happens. So, I don't know if we would really want that. You know, they say be careful what you ask for. Plus, Harry doesn't really want that life. So, unless he would have the proper autonomy as, king, I would just hate to see him put into another POW type of situation that he grew up in. So, you know, if it were possible that he could rule and be this fair and just and most important free individual, then I would be all for that. But it's a gilded cage at this time. So there's Kate. Remember when she went there and the kids were like, bye. She mumbled something. She mumbled something, and it was about. This was when she went to that class to tell the kids there was something wrong with their brains. She literally went to a group of children to talk about child early development. She went to the children to talk about child early care, brain development, and all that kind of stuff. She went to the children. I thought that was strange. But she made an appearance with the children because you know they can't afford to have her stand in front of a group or should I say speak in a very formal speaking engagement because that would be an absolute disaster. So what they do is they'll gather a group of kids and I wonder how many times she has sat in one of those classroom chairs. She had to squat down like she's on some, trip backpacking somewhere, like she's about to squat in the bush or something. She didn't have to squat down on those little chairs so that she can tell kids that there's something wrong with their brains. And I'm outraged with the idea that someone who obviously has a deficiency is someone telling someone else that is something wrong with their brains. She the one with the problem. I don't care what anybody say. She's the one that got a problem, not children. She do. She has the problem. And she's the one that's going to tell people that there's something wrong with their brain, and in particular, children. She ain't even all the way there, and she going to tell them that they have some developmental issues going on because she is the most preeminent expert on child development. This is the woman who was nearly pistol whipped by her own child. She's going to tell kids that they got a problem. She don't even tell herself that there's a problem in her house, and she telling other people that they have a problem. Make that make sense. I mean, I have seen a child pistol whip her at the Jubilee. I just seen this broad pistol whip. Okay. If you guys remember this famous photo of the little kid throwing up deuces, first Kate tried to talk to him. Then she tried to use jazz hands to get through to him. None of that worked. So he was like, deuces, be gone. And look at the other kid. I mean, why do they keep doing this? Stop doing this. Stop using children of color as props and backdrops. It don't always work with any of the children, but let alone the children of color. They see you, they see through you, they don't want to be bothered. But again, they're not really trying to share this with us. This is to reinforce the idea that this is worth the taxpayers spending 350 million pounds a year for a royal family. That's where they got that 350 from. 350 million pounds a week? No, but 350 million pounds a year. Because, see, when they talk about the sovereign grant, they never add the cost of security, which is substantial. When they travel abroad, they're paying for security. They have to send a reconnaissance team to make sure that this hotel is proper, that this venue is safe. That costs money, a lot of money. So, and okay, so the squatties on Twitter have been having a whirlwind of creativity. So, on the left, there was a squatty who tried to capture the spirit of the new Fab Four with Camilla, Charles, William, and Kate. And there's even a portrait of Kate in the background. And then another squatty was saying, here, Camilla's crown is ready for the coronation. So there's all manner of creativity on Twitter. And for those of you who avoid Twitter for peace of mind purposes, or just don't really use the Twitter, I'll try to share some of these things with you as I find them. Now, Camilla shows Prince Charles who's the boss as she brandishes a knife. I thought about that. And then when I saw this other photo, I'm like, oh, so that's what she's got over him. She probably told him, listen, boy, you try to get rid of me and I'll cut your gonads off. So that is why every time you see her eat anything that is of similar shape, she always has that sinister look on her face because I think that Charles is afraid of her. I mean, um, afraid. He obviously is afraid of her. So I, yeah, I think that he is in fear of his safety. Well, I mean, she probably has told him, if you try to get rid of me, I'm going to wear those things for earrings. You got my message? Huh? You got my meaning, Chucky boy? Unless you want me to have some new biodegradable earrings, I suggest you shut up. And then, of course, Robert Jobson, the many faces of Robert Jobson. When you all look at Robert Jobson's new profile picture on the Twitter, what do you see? Please tell me, what do you all see looking at that new image of Robert Jobson for his profile picture? Now, obviously, he has used one of those apps or whatever. And this particular one has created a somewhat, um, I won't call it abstract, but it's kind of the free flowing brush style that they used. Very modern like image of himself. Very cool. But who does he look like to you guys? I'm asking you because I have an opinion and I will reveal in just a moment. But um, I have to say that the photos on the right side, I always think of him calling into GMA from the restroom at the Heathrow Airport, sweating, profusely sweating, gasping for air, as you always see him on television. Harry and Meghan and the monarchy. Every sentence he starts it with. That's because he's very well fed. And before he could digest the palace provided food that they supply him with, he's so stuffed that when he goes on television, that's what that every sentence starts with. Oh man. Okay, are you guys ready for the big reveal? Okay, here goes. He looks like Kim Jong Il, the dear leader. He looks like the late president of North Korea. That he looks like Kim Jong Un's father. I'm just like, is that the dear leader? I'm like, why in the world is Robert Jobson using Kim Jong Un's father's image for his Twitter profile? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, mother of Kim Jong Il. He is literally using the late leader of North Korea's as his profile picture. That is not Robert Jobson. That is the late president of North Korea, Kim Jong Il. I'm just like, that is amazing. The resemblance. The resemblance is incredible. I mean, look at that. I mean, just 1 minute he's Robert Jobson, and then all of a sudden he's Kim Jong Il. He is the late communist leader, the dear leader, as they call him. They used to refer to Kim Jong Il as the dear leader, and he looks just like the dear leader, except for when he's on the toilet at Heathrow. He looks just like the dear leader. Isn't that something? They say everybody has a twin, and for uh, Robert Jobson, the late president of North Korea seems to be his twin. Separated at birth, one went on to be a heartless dictator of the most communist, secluded communist country in all of Asia, and the other has gone on to criticize Meghan and Harry and try to uplift that dynastic disaster known as the British royal family. So I tell you, spitting image. Kim Jong Il and Robert Jobson, you never see them in the same room at the same time. So, and on that note, Spare by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is an instant #1 New York Times bestseller. We are proud to publish this landmark book and to help share Prince Harry's story in his own words. That's what Random House Group has said, that they are proud to help Prince Harry tell his story. And along with that, there is also the ability to listen to Prince Harry's book on Spotify. That's right. Listen to Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, in his own words on Spotify. Now, I saw it for around $30. So I don't know if that goes for people who have a subscription or not. But it was around $30 was the price that I saw. So if you have Spotify, if you already have an account, I don't know if that is enough for you to see it without paying any extra, but it is available on Spotify. So if you don't want to have to add any new software or apps or anything to your phone, that's another way you can do it, is to use Spotify. Robert Jobson looked like he swallowed the tugboat and Goodyear blimp too. Gas from him will definitely start World War III till end of world as we know it. To end the world as we know it. All right. Let me see here. Uh-oh. Where am I at here? Okay. But well, I mean to tell you, he just looks so uncomfortable, doesn't he? The thing about Harry and Meghan, well, who's going to actually read this book? Well, you know who else? Star Jones used to do that before she had surgery. Star Jones used to start off every word with. Yes, I love Tracy Ullman doing Camilla. I love that. Yeah, if you guys could find Tracy Ullman doing her parody of Camilla, that is hilarious. Another one she does is Princess Margaret. Although people, I think in the skit, they refer to her as HRH, but she also does a mean Princess Margaret, which is hilarious. So if you guys can find those Tracy Ullman, Camilla Parker Bowles, or Tracy doing Princess Margaret, fun, fun, fun. Thank you, Black Queen. And with that, you guys, I kind of think where I am. Am I done? Oh, almost. Take a look here. Boots, which is a pharmacy in the UK, Boots reports Elizabeth Arden 8-hour cream popularity after Prince Harry highlights multi-purpose use. So if you guys, whether you have a Todger or you don't, or if you have any other skin that is dry and perhaps sunburned or freezer burned, apparently Elizabeth Arden is for you. So it doesn't matter where you apply it. But Boots Pharmacy, I used to shop at that one at, well, the first one I shopped was in Piccadilly Circus. I was staying at a hostel called Piccadilly Backpackers. And that's how I was introduced to the Boots Pharmacy. So there you go. Yes, Rohini says, God save the Peen. Rohini, you have such a way with words, and that's why I love you so much. You have such a way with words. Uh, There should be a newspaper column called Rohini Said. I would read that actually. I would read that. I would buy a newspaper for can I call it a Rohiniism? For Rohiniism. Because Rohini has some great ones. Laverne Lockhart, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Although I have to be careful saying member while I'm talking about Harry's use of Elizabeth Arden. Well, thank you for subscribing and also being here for us. Thank you. I have to get rid of Harry off of there before I say member. Let me go back over here. There we go. All right. Thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Sorry to keep you up so late. Oh my goodness, I can't believe 2 hours, 12 minutes. Where did the time go? Excuse me. But yes, lots of fun. Thank you very much. And in closing, you guys, please remember yes, they had to learn their lesson, didn't they? Please remember, do not let this stuff get you down. There is a limited scope that we have with our social media because of the algorithm. But for most people, this is just a backdrop to real life things here and there. The virtual war that has been waged by the tabloid media, that war is a losing proposition. It's not going to work in the long term. Harry has somehow found a weak point, and the best evidence of that is the fact that they are so tenacious with these latest attacks because they are afraid of Harry. They are afraid, especially the idea that the next book is coming. And since they can't seem to frighten him, they are trying to go after anyone else associated with the Sussexes, which has been a common ploy. I mean, take a look at that. Spare by Prince Harry is the UK's fastest selling memoir since records began. Now, I believe that amongst all of the sources, whether it's electronic or written, I think that so far they have sold close to 800,000 units. So by the end of this week, they may likely have sold over 1 million units in the UK. Okay. So this just goes to show you how far out ahead of the most highest selling before Spare already, what is that, quadruple whatever that last book was. So I'm telling you, by the end of this week, about 1 million units of Spare will have been sold. And that's because Spotify is now available. That counts. And then other people who are still waiting, unfortunately, to buy it, and plus, when Spare came out, it was the 10th of the month, right? Well, some people do not have extra money until the first of the month or until the next pay period. So that will be another wave of purchases, I'm sure. So don't despair, hang in there. Don't let these statistics and all of these attacks and especially the polls get you down because it is just a clever ruse to try to make people believe that the Sussexes are unloved and not popular. The same way they tried to make people believe that Meghan didn't have any famous friends until she met Harry, or the way they tried to make people believe that Harry was dumb and doesn't have any sense of autonomy or governance over his own life. They need people to believe that because it makes the excuse for them to attack him or to belittle him. The playbook that they used on Diana, oh, Diana's unstable, she's not well, Diana this, Diana that. I've even heard Princess Michael of Kent go on a talk show and say that Princess Diana's biggest problem was she didn't have much education. Well, if you look at the rest of that family, including Princess Michael of Kent, supposedly she has plenty education, but yet they are full of scandals, the two of them. It takes a really limited and ignorant person to fall back on racism. That's a lazy person. Like I heard someone say, "Oh, how clever Jeremy Clarkson! He's such a clever writer. Look at his writing style." Well, if you're a funny comedian, you should be able to get by without telling gay jokes or sexist jokes. If you're funny, you're funny. You should be able to get by without, being a one trick pony. And if you're a great writer, as they say that Jeremy Clarkson is, then why is it the only time he gets noticed is when he's demeaning or bashing women of color? Why is that the only time people notice his writing? Why is that the only thing he can fall back on whenever he wants to feel clever? It's easy to hate. Hate comes easy for some people, but it's the easiest, most primitive emotion or purpose that a person could have is hate. But to maintain civility, well, that takes effort, but it's worth it because it keeps everybody safe. So that is my thought for that. If you guys have any closing comments, please feel free to throw them up there and I'll try to catch a few of those. In the meantime, let us give our usual praise to um, two very, very um, well loved women. Of course, that is Princess Diana and Queen Meghan's mother's, I'm sorry, Princess Meghan's mother, Queen Doria, queen of everything. So it just goes to show when you plant the seed, great things can grow out of it. And that is why she calls Meghan Flower. Flower. Love that. Okay. Pink waving. What's that? Oh, what did I miss here? Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday, Lauren. Lauren, did you do a video today? Did you do a birthday video? What do you have up? What do you have? Send us a link so I can put it up there. So people can come over and say happy birthday to you. Whatever you have, you can put it up there. And yeah, I'll do that. Let's see. The trolls know hate is an easy paycheck. Yes, exactly. Hate is an easy paycheck. Thank you, Mo Shannon. I love that. Hate is an easy paycheck. Uh, okay. Just post a photo on my community tab. All right, I'll put that up then. Let me go to your community tab. I could post that. Let me see here. Oh, that's my community tab. Oh man, that's my community tab, not yours. Okay, let me try that again. Oh, let me see. Let me see. Oh, wait, I got this. Give me a second. Nobody help me. Yes, I love this photo. That is hot. I love that. Okay, so that is really, really nice. I love that. Now, how can I grab this? Okay, so I do that. What a great photo. You guys wait until you see it. Wait until you see it. So, okay, I've done that. Got to talk myself through this. Then I go back to my page on my channel, and then I do this, peg it to the top of the chat, and then I verify that it takes people to your community tab. Come on. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday week, Wednesday through Sunday to me. Another year. Oh, anyway, I'll let you guys see it for yourself. But yeah, so you guys go check that out. go say happy birthday to Lauren. You could write it on her community tab, and we're good. We're good. All right. So, and our word of the day is, there you go. That's our word of the day. Happy birthday, official Lauren Brown. Thank you, V. Thomas. So that's it, folks. I am going to Ginger Avenger us out of here. And I will see y'all tomorrow, hopefully earlier than today. I'm going to finish watching that thing I'm watching. Oh, God, I shouldn't have started it. But I'm going to finish watching that, and then I'll try to come on earlier tomorrow. All right? Very good. Saying happy birthday to official Lauren Brown, Harvey Firestein voice. Okay, okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh, God, I gotta go see my shrink. Happy birthday, dear Lauren. Happy birthday to you. Oh, I gotta call my mother. I gotta call my shrink. I gotta call my lawyer. Oh man, that Harvey Firestein voice, God, that hurts. We're the only sound on the empty street. Oh, I shouldn't sing that. I'm not going to sing that because I don't want people to associate that with your photo. So I'm not going to sing that song. People might get confused and think there's an association, and we can't have that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, my back is killing me. Oh. Oh man. Okay, guys. All right. I'm done. I'm going to what do you call it? I'm gonna do the Ginger Avenger, and I will see you guys tomorrow.